Well, welcome everybody. This is episode 1 of the LAS Lock-In Show. I am Macklin, joined with Pac today. How you doing, Pac?
Good. How are you doing, dude?
I am doing good. This is going to be the first episode of the new installment for the LAS Lock-In Show, and we are joined today by a special guest, Rav XL. How you doing, Rav?
CasterRav is in the building, LAS style.
Heck yeah, baby.
Very
You know it.
nice. All right. Well, do you want to give a little introduction about yourself, Rav, to kick things off?
Yeah, absolutely. If you've listened in on the LAS before, you've probably heard my voice, seen my face. Head caster, co-creator of the league. I've been in since the beginning with Panzer Verlari. We kind of developed this, and now we're here in season 3. And I've just been involved in casting for a number of years. It's probably been about 5 years now. I started live casting in the tournament scene up in Toronto, Canada, which we actually have a pretty robust League of Legends scene. And I went from doing that to working with various organizations, both doing real-time tournaments, where I got to cast a number of pro players like JJ and like Viper, so players like that, and got to do some big prizes as well as a bunch of online tournaments through different organizations as well. So I really love casting, and I do different games, and but League of Legends is my bread and butter, and that's where I am known through the LAS, and where I hope to help grow this league with the help of you guys and everyone in this community-driven league, to be able to bring it to new heights and for more players to enjoy.
Absolutely. We are very excited to start with this show. The LAS has been great. Season 3 just around the corner. That's going to be starting up on the 22nd this Sunday. So this episode, being number 1, is going to be recapping the preseason. We're going to be going over what to expect from season 3, look at some teams, go over some format, check out some rules, all that good stuff. And I'm ready to dive in whenever you guys are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, first let's go ahead and discuss what the preseason is. We have a number of different small portions within our entire season. So a season has 3 parts to it. It has preseason, the regular season, and the grand tournament. So we just completed the first part, which is a single elimination tournament. That's what we call the preseason. And it's really a chance for teams to try their roster out as a little bit of a preview before we get into where season 3 starts. Because once the rosters are locked in, then you can only do a certain amount of changes throughout the season. So we've just completed our 3rd season, and once again we had a new winner. And I'd like to discuss how they were able to win. I'll just go ahead and say it. GT Sabres, new team, their first time in the league, and they go ahead and they win season 3 preseason with my buddy Jack Die Ripper with his new team. So really, congratulations to those guys, and we can go over how they were able to do it, and how it kind of shaped up. But it was a great tournament, and we didn't get any forfeits, which is huge. Everyone played their games, and it's a great start to season 3.
Absolutely. And it was very surprising for me to see not only a new team take on the preseason and just completely go in with a lot of high hopes and take on the tournament with the win under their belt, but all the past teams, all the new teams that are also reforming from previous seasons, such as like Lightweight Crew. I know they were a broken up team from season 2. Do you have any sort of opinions on like what happened with those kind of teams in the preseason?
Well, Mac, I just love to jump in there because, yeah, they actually split from the team that I was a part of for 2 seasons, the Race Car Beds. So we were a team for season 1 and season 2, but for season 3, we just had too many cooks in the kitchen. We had too many players that wanted to play and know that they could be successful in this league. So we had Lightweight Crew go ahead with the players of I Am Johnny and Argonaut, and they went ahead and picked up a number of different players, Freeze Breath and I am Leona, who was also part of the Race Car Beds team, and a bunch of other new players. And then the team that I'm a part of now, the Apple Bottom Boys, we also came from the Race Car Beds. So there's a few teams that kind of split, and this is one of them. So both teams made it to the final. So I got to say, our decision to split our roster seems to be working out so far, but you know, it's only been a few games, so there's still a lot to unpack. But another one of those teams is the what was it? The Verge? No, it was
No, it wasn't us.
no, it wasn't the Verge. Who was it? There was another team that split. I swear. No, it was the Dire Wolves. The Dire
That's
Wolves,
what it was. Yes, correct.
Another team went off and formed Espionage. That's who it was.
Yes, yeah. And
I
it's
did
not even
know that.
it's not even under M&G either. They're just their own little thing.
They're dividing and conquering.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing
so that's
that.
another thing where Yukimoto and Reverse were longtime players in the Midnight Gaming Direwolves franchise, and they went ahead and made their own team. And we've been screaming them lately as the Apple Bottom Boys, and this team has come to play. They've got a very solid team, and Yukimoto is one of the best players, bar none, in this league, and he's shown it year after year. But how the tournament went out, it was where there was because of how many teams were in and how registered, the Apple Bottom Boys and the Dire Wolves had to play a game before everyone else did.
That's correct.
So once again, so this happened to my team in season 1, where we had to play an extra game, and we were able to come out on top, the Apple Bottom Boys, over the Dire Wolves, and now we were looking at them as one of our strong, the most toughest competition. They rejiggered their team and made it even better, and we're talking about a continual finalist team year after year, and they're always going for the top spot. And we were really fortunate to take the game off of them. It was a close game. I wasn't part of it. I was on vacation, but it was a real nail biter of a game between two top teams. What I'm predicting for season 3. But like, you know, it didn't just end at there. Going right into the next stage of the tournament, the Apple Bottom Boys went ahead and faced Midnight Gaming Chaos. So one of the Masters team that got, again, reformatted, new players, and that game was a little bit one-sided. We definitely got off to a strong lead and kind of were able to take that home. But I think their team is still learning to play as a team together. So this preseason was really just seeing where they were before the season goes ahead and kicks off. And I'd expect that they're going to be part of the Legends division. And we'll see whether there's 2 or 3 divisions that are going to be made for the season.
Correct.
But the next series, Rajan Storm versus Eclipse, Midnight Gaming, I didn't get to see that one. Both Masters teams from last season. You guys are familiar with those squads?
Yes, they were actually Legends division last season.
Oh, that's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
where
they
we met
were.
all of them. And they were pretty good teams. I remember Rajan Storm was one of the 4 that was taken into the grand tournament with us. And they did pretty decent. They were fun to scrim against, obviously Stripes, who I believe is still on that team. He was like excellent with like working with us and trying to get like things formatted, and it was like all around a pretty fun team diverse. Considering like a bunch of like the Legends divisions didn't really make it out going into playoffs and the grand tournament rather for season 2. But he was one of the good teams, especially M&G in general. I love all of them. They're really good guys. So really nice players.
And they're really competitive to play against as well. Both M&G Chaos and M&G Rajan Storm. They were they gave us a run for their money, honestly, each game. They were very competitive playing against. Very sportsmanlike. There's always that little bit of banter at the beginning of every game that made it just more and more fun to play. All games were relatively close, and we had a really fun time competing against them for sure.
But in the next series, we see Aegis Gaming. This is a team I'm not familiar with. Do you guys know anything about this team? They seem new to LAS.
I was gonna
Do
say,
you know any of
I
the
believe they're
players
a
that are
brand
on
new
there?
team. I don't know of any returning players under the org.
yeah, I went on to the op.gg link that they have posted for their team, and nothing looked familiar to me. Not even like so much of the free agents were in that team either. So I was kind of like question marking like if this is a rebrand from a previous team, or if this was just a brand new team that is sticking their foot into the door. So
There's a couple names that I feel like I recognize, but I'm not 100% sure. There's not Jackie Love and Ryan's OG. I feel like I know those, but I could be wrong. But they might just be a brand new team.
There's something about that not Jackie Love name that might be familiar. I can't say 100% yes or no on that either, but I tell the team that they faced against GT Sabres, the eventual winners. So I gotta lay this down, guys. I have an interesting story that's got a little bit of heat to it.
mm-hmm.
So Pac, you're gonna be really interested. Mac, I'm about to lay down some dirt. Okay, you guys are gonna hear it right now, and all the LES viewers that are watching, you're gonna be able to get to hear some inter-team drama that's going on. So again, GT Sabres and my boy Jack the Ripper, right? I say that. I love the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what this guy did? He was all set to be on the Apple Bottom Boys up until 2 days before registration when he's like, my old team wants to reform and we're going to join and I want to join with them. And well, of course you want to join your old team and your old buddies and
Yep.
play with the guy a lot. And he, you know, he's one of our boys now. Like we're playing with him like quite a bit in these last few years. And so, yeah, 2 days before, we're scrambling to fill our team up because he was like a key part. He was our mid laner. And then he goes with this other team. Ends up being a good decision as not only do they end up winning, but they end up beating our team in the finals. So,
Mhm.
you know, maybe he chose right. But there you go. There's the drama. We're all good. There's no hard feelings. Just, you know, it just happens when you're making teams and you have a deadline.
No, honestly, I was going to say the Verge Esports can 1,010% relate because we actually, I believe, either had one or two people do that to us when we were trying to form the Verge Warriors for preseason, or for season 3, rather. It was like last minute right after tryouts. They were just like, oh, my old team wants me, or like, I can't really make it on Sundays and stuff like that. And it was disappointing to hear, but at the same time, you find the holes to fill, obviously. So we were able to do that right in time for season 3, which I'm very excited for. Both my teams going in, but yeah, a lot of people flaking out, which is kind of upsetting, but you know, it happens. So.
Yeah, you're always going to run into a couple challenges when trying to build upon your own team or even our second team, because this is all entirely our second team, and we were pretty fortunate enough to get a whole group of 5, even 2 to 3 subs as well. So we got the Verge Gods going in and the Verge Warriors going in, all 5 with subs going in. We're gonna go strong. We got it all filled up.
And you're conserving your energy too. You didn't want to do the preseason. You wanted to, like, you know, hide your strategies into the regular season.
Yeah,
stuff like
absolutely.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
wanted to at least scrim
way
with
to
the
look
boys
at
that
it.
we were trying to formate.
Good.
We're trying to like get them under our belts, let the Legends players go with the Masters players and like learn from them. And plus, I believe my Legends team is actually scrimming as we speak, so they're doing justice.
Yeah.
So they're good.
That's right. They're going to be all practiced up, ready to pick up where we left off on the Legends division, because we will be in the Masters division. So we're handing off the torch to them, and hopefully they'll do us proud. They're
Yes.
practicing up.
But back to preseason.
The last preseason game there, Espionage and Lightweight Crew. So I'm familiar with both these teams as they are offshoots of former teams. Espionage, yeah, reverse Yukimoto, picked up a bunch of other players. And they faced out against Lightweight Crew, and these are 2 solid teams that will be placed in the Masters division. And Lightweight Crew was able to take it, and that wasn't a foregone conclusion. Both of these teams could have won. Both of these teams have a good chance of finishing in the top 3, top 4 in the upcoming season. I tell you, we're going to have some really strong gold plat teams because I'm looking at these teams that are registering, and I'm looking at their rosters, and there's no easy wins. It looks like now the Verge, you guys are going to be in here with us Masters boys, and
That's
you're
right.
gonna see it's not gonna be a walk in the park. You're gonna be
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not gonna be the
there,
14-0 we were
watches
just
look at.
handed.
Oh, me and Pac know firsthand about Masters teams because we actually each time we faced monkey hand signs, we were not able to beat them.
That's right.
We
Yeah.
played them twice. We lost both games. We were ahead in the first game. We could not close it out. There's something about the Masters teams, man. We'll experience firsthand how it is to play them in a whole division.
Mm-hmm.
I picked you guys too. Like I was calling it the whole playoffs.
Yeah, we had
for sure you were moving on.
We had Guardians behind us too. They were just like, "Yeah, go Verge." And then when we showed up just to be shit, it was just like, "Eh."
We just gave Guardians of God's Glaze the alley-oop. That's what it was.
Yep, we gave him the boost.
What a story though, right? I mean, I know we're talking about preseason, but like, you know, it just got brought up naturally in conversation though. But Guardians of God's Glades coming over from the Legends division, finishing second fiddle to you guys all season.
That's right.
And then losing regular season as well, finishing second, and then coming in the grand tournament, taking the whole thing.
It was nuts.
What
Just
a
one of those
Cinderella
things.
story.
Oh, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, and you got to be happy for him, man. It's just something else. The only losses that they had were from us.
We're us.
So, like,
Literally the Verge. That's it.
There are 2 losses.
So weird to
Both
fucking
from us.
like
They
imagine.
were close games too. They weren't easy for sure, and to see them go the full distance to take the whole grand tournament. I watched both games. They were great. I can't and even with P247, their opponent, we couldn't take a game off of them either. So it's like you're in this triangle where we beat God's Glaze but lost to P247. God's Glaze beat P247 and P247 beat us. It's literally the trifecta.
Yeah, now you got the
what
triangle
is going on here.
Mm-hmm. That was whack.
Absolutely, and then just to touch on that Guardians of God's Glaze, unfortunately, they didn't join up for season 3. So what that means is that there's no defending champion coming in for season 3. So anyone can win it. It's up in the air. All of these teams that we're talking about and that we're introducing have a chance to win. There's no defending champions. And another big announcement. We got lots of dirt. We got lots of stories. We got announcements here today. We have, as our first announced main caster of season 3 is GGG's own, the defending champions. Yes Man is going to be in as our main caster of season 3, and we're finding him a partner to work with. But he's already agreed, and I couldn't be happier because he's been in the league. He's been casting with us all through season 2. Just worked with Stripes as well to cast here the preseason finals, and we have a defending champion that's going to be ahead. That's going to be our main caster. So I'm super happy, and I want to thank him for going ahead and taking on that responsibility for the league and being that voice that's going to be there week after week to kind of recap what's going on and explain the action. So guys, I'm super excited about that, and we got more casting coming ahead here for season 3. It's what people were demanding, asking. They were demanding, but you know, kind of can do what we can do there. But we were able to make it work, and he stepped up to the plate. And so big props to him. If you see him, give him a big thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really good to see more and more people get develop this passion for casting, because casting games in a league like this, it's just the best. Like when you know that you're the person that is the voice of a game that is happening, and you get to make those play-by-play calls, and to see Yes Man step up from being a player and to being a full-time caster, it's just great to see. It's really good to see people want to be a caster for this league, because we want to stream as many games as we can, and to have casters willing to just get right in there and cast whenever a game is available to cast, I think it's great, and it'll be really cool to see going into season 3 for sure.
Yeah, it's something that this division or this series definitely deserves, I would say, is definitely like casting and stuff like that, because as low quality games as this might seem to other people, like outsiders and stuff like that, I live for this shit. Like, this is actually like one of the coolest things I've been involved in like a decent amount of time, I would say. I'm not gonna say like I don't do shit, but this is definitely something I'm committed to more than a lot of things going on outside of life and stuff like that. So it's such a great experience just to see like people wanting to come in, do all these things, pitch their ideas, and get season 3 to where it's at right now, which is going to be like one of the more exciting seasons that I'm going to be participating in with all of you guys. So
And we even include a special segment whenever we have our podcast. We have an LAS segment to go over how we did in each game. And sometimes we have to cut each other off because we just keep on talking about it. We just always
Oh my
love to
God, yeah,
let
it's a run-on
people
sentence.
know how the LAS scene is happening. We tell them how we did. And now when we start up our second season of that, we're going to be letting people know how our Legends team is going to go. So we'll have both of those running, but we always want to talk LAS, so I think this is going to be a good season, and I can see a lot of people developing interest for the league, and it's great.
Yeah, and you guys will let me know that this is going to be a regular format. Can you kind of explain just like how this is going to be going forward, and what people can expect when they see a LAS podcast with Pac and Mac?
Yeah, go for it, Macklin. I'll let you take over that one.
Yeah, so basically how this show is going to go for like LAS wise and what to expect.
Yeah. Because discussing it, you guys were talking about doing it every few weeks after there's been a couple of weeks, kind of an LAS action, and we can kind of like we're going over what's happened in the previous week's action, and you're bringing on a special guest you were talking to me about. But what can people, adding on to that, what can they look forward? Because this is super interesting, and I'm honored to be the first guest here. I got a ton to say. I love being a caster. I love talking about League of Legends, and I love talking LAS. So I know there's other people, and I've heard through the LAS grapevine that you have a second guest lined up. Let's keep it a secret for now, but I know this is something that's going to be going forward, and I just want something for people to be excited about. Like, what can you guys say?
Exactly. So what people can expect from this is that we're going to be cranking out a couple of the episodes. I want to say, I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing it bi-weekly if I'm not mistaken, but expect to see about 5 to 6 episodes per season going forward. And pretty much it's just going to be your information load of what's happening in the LES in terms of results. You're going to hear some narratives, some stories. We're going to let you know how each division is going. We're going to have some special guests lined up. Like you said, we have one already for episode 2. So it just gives the chance to grow as a community in the LAS, to see more avenues of content in addition to the games. You're going to be experiencing firsthand in a video format what is happening in the league, how the standings are shaping up, and the more we get into it, the more interesting it'll be. Come grand finals, that's going to be a real banger of an episode. So you can expect each episode to be, a good 40 minutes of quality content provided by LAS staff. So every I want to say bi-weekly, we'll crank out each episode, obviously with a special guest. We'll be letting you know how the league's going, what's happening, some strong builds, what champions are getting picked up, all that good stuff. So if anyone's listening to this right now, you're in for a treat, because we're going to keep rolling out the episodes.
Absolutely.
I know as myself, when I'm reviewing what's happened in the league, like, I'm going through results, screenshots, and I tell you, I would much rather tune into you guys talking about what's happening and kind of highlighting what's important versus me going through and clicking on end of game screens where I'm looking at very little information and just being like, okay, like, who popped off, who fed,
like what happened in this game.
About it, like,
yeah,
right.
This person got fed this game. Man, I really wish there was some way to get some more in-depth detail on that. Well, you're in luck, Rav, because we're going to be making the episodes just like that. You're going to be seeing all the results come in screenshot, just as you would expect, but expect an episode to be covering that in the near future each week.
And I want to add on top of that, players are going to be able to do what's called a play of the week. You're able to submit to us what you believe will be the better play of the week. We're going to take a look at it as a group, and we're going to discuss it and see which one we want to pick, and then highlight that to other people so that they get not only inspired, but some sort of idea of what to expect within further weeks, as well as highlighting certain teams that are popping off and making the plays happen.
Guys, I just love that, because you get the community involved and they're submitting their favorite plays. You guys go ahead and review them. Maybe you're going to have 5 or 10 submissions. You go ahead and throw the top 3 or something, or the top 1, whatever you guys decide, and then you get to have a little bit of commentary. You get to highlight who did it, what the situation was, how it changed the game. This type of that's just super interesting to me, and that's the type of LAS content that I know I'd want to see in a podcast. So thank you guys for taking the reins and going ahead
Absolutely.
Of course.
on this. I just wanted to touch on a couple of points, and one is just a couple of the rules that were changed. We like to tweak the rules every few seasons, and I know we're kind of talking about how we're moving into season 3, and it's kind of a sticking point where some people aren't reviewing the rules every season. And I was just wondering, can I bring up like 2, 3, 4 of the kind of the main rule changes
Of
that
course.
we have going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, let them know.
Okay, so like overall, first right off the bat, this podcast is going to be released before the end of the registration. So what's really important is that the level of the account needs to be 75 or above, and this is the reason is we want main accounts. Okay, this isn't to someone who's a diamond player but is going to go ahead and play on his gold account. No, we want people's main account where you play your main games. You have to use that account. That way we have a general idea of what people's skill cap is, because we're all, I want to say mid-tier players, but that's being generous. It's about well, we don't want to play against people that are like skilled, right? Like we don't want to play against a Masters player. Okay, so yeah, it's got to be a level 75 account. And then another one, you got to be ranked in solo queue. And I know not everyone's ranked in solo queue, but let's be real, it's how the primary ranking is done. Flex queue was considered a joke for many years, but I like Flex Cube.
I
But
love Flex.
we're judging people on solo queue rank, so you have to be ranked. And
In solo
you have
queue,
to play
strictly.
In solo queue, exactly.
Yep.
In this season, in the current season,
as
and
well.
40 solo queue games in total. Not 40 wins, 40 solo queue games. In other words,
40 games.
You're playing this season. That's it. So
Right.
and then no diamond players, right? No diamond players. You can't be ranked diamond currently, or you didn't finish diamond in solo queue in the previous season. So that would be the 2020 season. So that's it for the account specification. You have to have 7 players, okay, minimum. And this is a big, a big issue with some players and teams. Like they want to register 5 because they want to play with their boys in those 5. But you know what? We've seen time and time again, something will come up, okay? And this is a free league, and so it's realistic that you should have a few substitutions so that you're not having to bring an emergency sub in for every week, and then the other team's got to scramble and that sort of thing. So that's why we say 7 players. So you got to have 7 players. It's to avoid teams from having to forfeit their games. That's it.
Right.
Big sticking point in season 2. So we have that rule, and we're very strong on it because we don't want teams to show up and then to not have to play games, because it sucks.
Right.
It sucks. You're ready. You're scouting. You're ready to play 2 or 3 games in the night, and 1 or 2 of them don't show up. It's not something we want. So that's one of the major rule changes that we did. And then I want to touch on the other one, was the emergency substitution rule. So this one we also beefed up in order to lower the amount of forfeits in our game. And this is the big one, where you can do up to 3 substitutions. So in the past season, it was just 1. Didn't work out. Sometimes teams needed 2 subs, okay? And they couldn't do it. They had to forfeit a game. Now we're allowing you to do a maximum of 3 substitutions. The max rank can be gold, okay? Gold in solo queue, so you can't be bringing in a bunch of plat players to just, completely make a new team and have these guys carry. Gold max, and every time you do an emergency sub, you lose a certain amount of bans. For 1 sub, it's 1 ban. For 2 subs, it's 3 bans. And for 3 subs, it's 5 bans. So at least, there's some sort of penalty, but the game gets played, and that's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And both teams want that, right? Like, I know you guys
yeah.
must have felt that before. You guys picked up some forfeit wins. You don't want those free wins, right?
No.
Oh yeah, me and Pac can relate to that very, very much so. So what happened last time was that the FFs were a problem. They were unfortunate, especially for the 3 heat days when we're all ready, us 5 all ready to go in the lobby. And what happens? We had all 3 games actually FF. So it was 2 FFs and a reschedule. So we did get to play that 3rd game, but then again, when you prepare yourself for 3 games and you don't get to play any that day, it just really stinks. So
yeah,
we're hoping that the emergency sub rule is really going to fix this, because what's important, like you said, is that we get to play the game. Bans, they're not life or death. You're not going to be able to ban someone who's comfortable on certain champion X, and that's not the end of the world. What's important is that you get to play the game. That is the biggest thing, because it's really unfortunate when you get FFs. And even with going back to the minimum number of players, 7, if you can have up to 10, the 10 is actually the max as well. So the more subs you have, the better. Like, hey, like you have a friend online that plays League, he's on every day, boom, put him as a sub.
And he doesn't even have to count it as an E-sub, so you don't even have to use that penalty.
Sub, you'll hang on to a ban, exactly. So yeah, we're really gonna fix the forfeit issue that we had last time, and with this new rule, I'm sure we're gonna do so.
Funny part is, I was looking in the LAS Discord just before this whole thing was about to be done, and it actually says the FFs for last season, we were one of 2 teams out of 8 that didn't use a single FF or anything, reschedule anything.
Not a single one.
And
matter of fact, were you gonna say we only used 1 emergency sub?
True, that is true. Yeah.
We used subs, but emergency sub only a single time.
The other teams were 5 that were taken out of the league, and then there was 1 team that had 5, which is a crazy high number.
Yeah, and we get it. Life happens. You can't make it. That's fine. That's the whole point of the minimum number of people that you have on your roster. 7 minimum. Get the subs in. It just makes it a lot easier for teams to be able to play their game.
Correct.
So again, this was the main rule that we changed to avoid that. We at the end of every season, the LAS staff, we like to take in suggestions, and we take these suggestions very seriously. We speak with other leads as well and what they're doing. And we try to implement what's going to work best for games to be played and for people to have fun in a fair way. And this was the main rule that was changed. So let's hope it fixed the problems, and we can kind of reverse that. Instead of 2 teams not having any forfeits, let's make it so that it's the 6 teams that have no forfeits and maybe 2 that only, occasionally forfeit a game, right?
Right.
And that just to be a more a season that's more entertaining for all parties, because games are getting played.
Right.
So that was a major rule. There was just a couple other ones that I wanted to highlight, but that's the real major rule, and then that's going to hopefully solve the problem of season 2. But the other one is, like you were saying, Mac, is for rescheduling games. So we kind of tightened up the rules on that, because we were having people requesting reschedules, and then them not happening for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks going on end. And then if you're the team that accepted the reschedule, and you're asked to play with a suboptimal team, it's just like, well, okay, I've got my 3rd string team here. Do I play this game? Because we did them a favor, and they've got their best team on right now. And so what we did, we went ahead and we cleaned up that rule, and so whoever requests the sub, the rescheduled game, it's 2 weeks to go ahead and make that game happen. And if it doesn't happen for whatever reason, they lose, because they're the ones that weren't able to show up that day. They asked for the reschedule. The other team graciously accepted it, and it's between those 2 teams to make it work. If they can't make it work, it's only fair that the team that wasn't able to show up, gets the loss. We move on, and we're not going to have these reschedules that keep piling up in the forum. So that's one I'm really happy that got changed. It's going to help just streamline things.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely a really good rule there, because like you said, rescheduling, we were fine with that. We had a couple teams that had to reschedule. It happens. We got rescheduled to a Saturday night or a Friday night. But like you said, the rescheduled game would only happen, honestly, not even half the time. Sometimes we would always be there for the rescheduled game, but then they'd said, hey, I know we rescheduled this game, but we still can't get the players online. That, all these rules flow together. The minimum of 7, that goes right into the rescheduled games. You just having as many people on your team is just the optimal way to be in this league, for sure.
Honestly, and with all these rules in place, especially with Season 3, it's not like you're stepping on glass worrying that you're going to be breaking a rule. These are really, really easy, basic rules. If you watch LCS, if you watch LEC, if you watch any sort of competitive League of Legends, you'll understand that there's no, substitute games or, rescheduling things. So in that professional mindset to where you're able to come to these games, show up, play your games, and earn your wins, earn your losses, do whatever you need to do. It's going to be a fun experience for everyone. And even though we've taken losses in the past within the grand tournament and stuff like that, it's nothing that defeated us as a group, because we knew that this league had easy stuff to work around, that we were just enjoying it overall. So as long as teams and like newcomers especially understand that this is going to be like no hard feelings or anything as far as like breaking a rule or like worrying if you're doing something wrong, it's very, very simple. It's very easy. We made Season 3 as easy as possible without having to make a long list of like what ifs and can I do this or should I blah blah blah. It's everything's answered for you. Like you can find everything in the rules. It's very, very easy.
Just a couple other quick things. You can have a coach. They can be with you, one coach, during the drafting phase. This to help teams decide picks and bans, that type of thing, team comps. But then as soon as the screen transitions to the champion screen where everything's being shown, all the champions and summoners and all that type of thing, coach has to leave then. It's just so that you're not able to have a sixth voice in game, but pre-game it's allowed. So it's just something that we thought that was good to have, because some teams have coaches and they should be able to have some say in the game, but we definitely want to keep it within game. It's only the teams that are allowed in the chat, just for competitive integrity, keep things on the up and up on that front.
Correct, yeah, and it also mimics the professional scene. If you watch LEC, LAS, reverting back to that, you watch the coaches walk off as soon as Summoner Rift is coming up. That's just how it works, and it's only fair to every single team if you weren't even to have a coach. So don't want to have a backseat gamer. Every
team is presented with the same opportunity to have a coach. Just having them leave right before the game starts. It's a really simple rule.
Yeah.
Something you get to benefit from, and it's also a really rule to follow.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
And for there's a 15-minute break in between match series. This sometimes comes up in best of 3, or like when we're playing multiple games in a single night. So every team has 15 minutes to organize and to get the game started. So if the 15 minutes goes up, it is a FF for the team that's not able to show up. Now, this is a free league, so like if someone's on their way and they're a few minutes away, like I know like my team would let it happen. The rule is 15 minutes. We are a free, fun league. We are a community. We're trying to make reschedules happen. Giving a team a little bit of leeway it'd be really nice for the community, but we do have that hard and fast rule, like in case someone's got to be somewhere or something comes up, we have it in place. So, but that's only if the previous series didn't run late. So that's like, so if they started late, or if it was like a crazy 1 hour game or something like that, then there's some leeway on that. It's not the hard and fast 15-minute rule, but that's what we have for timing. And the last is just don't break the rules. You get a punishment. You get kicked out of the league. Don't cheat. Like, we're here to have fun. We're all playing by the same rules. That's the only way that this is fun and fair for everyone. So if you're not able to do that, we don't want you here. We want to have fun and play with our friends, and that's what it is about. So that's about it. It's pretty straightforward. That's all I want to go over for rules wise. Those are the main ones. Every player, every team should review the rules page. I know Panzer had a great discussion a few weeks ago where I think I saw about 30 people in the general chat listening to him go over the rules. So that was really great at the turnout. But of course, every team and player, it's your responsibility to know what the rules of the league are. And just like with law enforcement, not knowing a rule is not a defense. I didn't know that I couldn't have 5 other players telling us what to do in the same chat as me. Like, that's not really an excuse. So that's all I want to do for the rules, and it's enough me being a hard ass. But we got to have some sort of framework that we all work within.
Yep.
And we all agree that they got to be there, and let's just follow them.
Yep. And this is such a nice community. You'll make friends, you'll make brothers, you make whatever you can out of this. You just got to make the most of it. we've made the most of it. Coming in season 2, we were newcomers, Macklin and I. We thought this was like one of the better opportunities we've had in a while. Thanks to shout out to Combustor for allowing us to participate in this league and signing us up last season rather. That was really clutch of him. So you just got to make the most of it. Just follow the rules, have fun, play games of League Sunday nights from X to Y, and that's pretty much it.
Oh, last one. 3 plat players at most in the game.
That is a huge one. 3 plats per game. That's a huge one.
So because of my teammates, I cannot go past gold 1. So
I'm sorry.
Shout out to my boys. Hey, it's okay. But the 3 plats are locked in, so I gotta stop myself at gold 1. So hey, you know what? I'm a plat player at heart.
I had to stop at plat 1. Like,
hey, you snooze, you lose, right? They got there first. Like, what are they gonna do about it?
Yep.
Right?
Nope. Credit to them, man. I can't do nothing about it. It's all good.
But with all that said and done, we do want to come to a conclusion, considering we are at about time. I do want to thank Rav for showing up on behalf of the Apple Bottom Boys and the casting crew, so thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Macklin, for also joining with us too, and thanks to me too. This was such a great experience, and we are looking forward to episode 2 with our special guest, who we will keep a secret. But this has been the LAS Lock-In. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we shall see you in the season.